Let me share with you what slows people's progress when they're learning another language. I've worked as a French teacher for many years. I've taught hundreds of students, and the one thing I always say in my French classes is that French is not English and English is not French, because a lot of the students I have that only speak English, they will always say, "Why is it like this when in English it's like this?" And I tell them, French is not English. I'll give you an example. When students ask, when we learn about questions and how to form questions in French, there is this thing we say sometimes, and we say est-ce que, right? Est-ce que. And est-ce que makes the sentence into a question when you put it at the beginning of the sentence. But some students are like, what does this mean? Does this translate to do? Like in English, you ask, do you like something? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you? And I say, not really. It doesn't really translate that way. And they're like, okay, so what's the word for do? Then they proceed to translate everything word for word and align it with English. But the thing is, French is a completely different language. Yes, some of the structures are similar or the same, but it's a different language. Not everything translates perfectly, not everything translates word for word. And the more they base their French knowledge on English, the harder it is to learn and the slower their progress is. That's why when you're learning a new language, you have to be open minded and understand that this is a completely different structure. I am not trying to throw shade at all, but this happens a lot with people who only speak English as their language. And they have this idea that English is center, it's the center of all languages and every other language has to match it. And actually that's not the case. I find when I'm working with, people from other parts of the world, like outside of North America, they don't really have this mentality of comparing it to English all the time because they're used to their native language not being the center. So it's just a little observation I had. English is not the center, and not everything has to be forced into it, because if you do that, you'll be very frustrated and you will end up quitting. So that is my language tip of the day.